lighting's not going to be great because of the windows being open, but I thought we would try to film in a different place so I could show the Halloween decorations that are behind me behind the camera when I usually film. But today is Thursday, so we're going to open some packages. Our first one is an eBay, and this is from Pacific Northwest Found on eBay, and it's coming to us from Longview, Washington. And here's the little stickers that she put on the package. So let's get into it. Here we go. Really cute thank you sticker. Thank you for, letting me buy this item. Oh, this is not the material I expected. This is a very lightweight material. So this is a little jumpsuit from Compagnie Internationale Express. I don't know, that's just Express. But this is not the material I was expecting. Not bad, but I thought it was going to be a thick material. But this is like, y'all can see how thin that is. Because I was going to do like a turtleneck underneath, which I can still do, but I will definitely have to wear a jacket as well because this is very thin. But it's just a little jumpsuit. That's the look. So darks or lights, would you put this in the darks or lights in the wash? Let me know. So we have that one. Then we have a chewy one. So this is for the pets, coming to us from Hanover Township, Pennsylvania. I've had this sitting here a while. So I think this is for Delilah because it's not making a lot of noise. I don't think it's treats. It's a kind of treat, but y'all will see. And yes, we've been eating this. This is the Kong Easy Treat Peanut Butter. You can put these in Kong toys and, toys that are like Kongs. Yeah, she has a lot of fun with that. So I got her more of that. I have a subscription for it, so it comes every few months. Then we have another eBay, but it's not closed. This is coming to us from Stephanie in Heath, Ohio. And she offered me a great deal on this, and I couldn't pass it up. Something I don't like about eBay is when it's essentially a package in a package. It just takes so long to get into. Like, it's keeping your items safe. But this is hard to open after somebody who's doing this on video. And yet again, can these be recycled? I don't know if they can or not. Not sure. Okay. Oh, yeah, it says right here, do not recycle. Okay. I think this will be our last bag. It is, okay. This little, this is definitely a handmade by Janet in 1977. We have Janet's little scarecrow. Look at him. Isn't he adorable? Handmade. And there's, of course, my dog has been so loud lately. Like, I don't know what it has been. These past 2 days, she's either been whiny, she's been barking a lot. Like, it's driving me insane. Because it's only when I'm vlogging, no other time. But okay, so 1977. Yes, I love it. It's time to go over my notes. So y'all, I am cold. I just got in. I actually don't know what the temperature is outside. I want to check because, as I said, my hands are really cold. It is 61 degrees. I know to a lot of y'all that is nothing, but for me that is cold. Yeah, when the time comes, so my temperatures for reading outside, 85 is the highest I will go. And that can be the feels like temperature as well. And the lowest I will go is 55. I should have had a blanket with me when I was out there tonight. That's what I have been doing. But I honestly forgot to bring the blanket with me, but I have read over a third of the book now. I think it was 34% is where I got to. The spine has broke. I love a broken spine. Now, this is a book where I'm not annotating, so it's like, am I going to keep this book? I mean, right now, it's 4-star quality. I don't know exactly why it's not a 5-star, but it's not feeling like an all-time favorite. But it's still a great book. Also, when I was reading at 3 o'clock, so there were definitely a lot of fleas outside today. I don't know when we're expecting the exterminator. Again, I don't remember the last time he came, but there were fleas all over the place, and one landed on my book, and I killed it, and I didn't expect blood to go all over my book. So yes, I am going to keep this book. Even if I didn't like it, which I mean at this point, I usually know what I'm going to rate a book, and as I said, this is 4-star at the moment, so I would be keeping it anyway. But let's go over the notes. I wish I could set it up. I know that's, y'all can't really see that, that's going to be really small, but we are going to, so yesterday, as we talked about that, how I said the South was like a different country almost during this time period. And as I said, that doesn't mean the North was perfect. There was still racism in the North. And in this instance, we are in Detroit. And at this time, this is when America, hold on, let me turn off my phone, do not disturb, because the notifications are going off and they'll distract me. But during this time period, America has gone to war in Europe in World War II. There's factories in Detroit that were originally building cars, they're building planes, tanks, that kind of stuff. So therefore, you know, they are going to need people to build them. A lot of people have been shipped off to war, so people in the North are like, okay, let's see who is not being paid correctly, who is low income. So they look at the South, they look at black people in the South, and a lot of, this is a different instance, like people, companies in like Chicago would like put flyers up, and it would be like very discreet, almost code that would be like, hey, you should come to Chicago to get this job and all that. So there's that, but that's not even the point that I'm getting to. But there was this really big riot where it was started by white people who were saying that a black man who worked at one of the factories raped, killed, threw a woman in the river lake, something, a white woman, that he did all that, which never happened. And then the black community, they were saying that the white people did, you know, practically like the same thing. Again, never happened. So all these misconceptions caused a huge riot where people lost their lives and everything. Again, I had never known about this. It did mention one that I did know about because it was saying like the history of race riots, I guess, in this country, swim back from like, we're going from after the Civil War to, you know, up until the mid-century. So that's just to show that Detroit might have been in the North, but things absolutely were not perfect. Our next point is, again, wars change things. That's something I've realized. So we read last year Come Fly the World, which was about the flight attendants at Pan Am Airlines. And the jet age really takes off during the Cold War, but mainly after Vietnam. We have tons, I don't even know the number, of, again, with the draft, it pried on lower income, black people, you know, and I'm not just saying black people because they were praying, because, you know, rich people could get exempt from the draft and all of that. I think we all know a draft dodger, if y'all get what I'm saying. But there was, so a lot of common people were being sent to Vietnam, and they go on planes, and then they can take leave, they can fly to Hawaii, they can fly to Japan, they can go to Sydney, Australia. So they are seeing the world. The world really was opened up to the common American person during Vietnam. With the World War II, and we see with Korea as well in this book, that a lot of people are realizing. So we have Pershing, who he goes to serve in Austria to be a doctor for the United States Army. over there. It does take some time for him to be able to operate on white women and all of that, because people did still have their prejudices, because like the colonel or somebody was a white southern man, and he was like, I have nothing for you to do today, even just because he was black. And but so he eventually does get to operate on anybody, who needs it. He gets to fulfill his job as a surgeon, as a doctor. And then he comes back to his hometown of Monroe, Louisiana, and can't perform surgery there. Not in the white hospital, He can't do that. And he's like, I can perform surgery for the United States Army, but I can't in my hometown. And so it was really and in the war, you have black and white people serving, soldiers fighting alongside together, working in the medical field, because we see this with women as well, because women, couldn't really be doctors before. You see it on Outlander with Claire and Joe Abernathy. So it's just that same kind of thing of, I think because of World War II, and again, it's just because all of history, all this lining up, Jim Crow, World Wars, it causes a cultural revolution, a societal revolution. Now we have on page 152, so this is something that I had no idea was happening. And I didn't take a screenshot. I put it so I could go to it in here for y'all. We had this thing called a debt peonage, I'm not sure. So in the months George had been rousing up the pickers, their world had grown even more dangerous due to the state's desperate wartime need for labor. From the Panhandle to the Everglades, Florida authorities were now arresting colored, and to let y'all know, with the use of colored, black, African American, the author is using whatever was being used, as you see here in the 1940s. That was the term that was preferred, and just as the book goes through time, it's going to change how they are referred to, But okay, so authorities were now arresting colored men off the street in their homes if they were caught not working. Charged with vagrancy, the men were assessed fines of several weeks' pay and made to pick fruit or cut sugar cane to work off the debt if they did not have the money, which few of them did. As the authorities fully anticipated, those captured were hauled to remote plantations or turpentine camps, held by force and beaten or shot if they tried to escape. It was an illegal form of contemporary slavery called debt peonage, which persisted in Florida, Georgia, Alabama, and other parts of the Deep South well into the 1940s. Federal investigations into neo-slavery in Florida uncovered numerous abuses of kidnapping and enslavement and led to a 1942 indictment and trial of a sugar plantation company in the Everglades. So it just goes on with several more situations of where, where that was happening. That, again, never knew about that. They were arresting people for legit not working. Like, it's crazy. But as I was saying with the wartime, this was something that I meant to mention as well. So we have George, who is in Florida, and as I said, he had been rousing up the pickers. So, as I said, a lot of people were sent to Europe to the war. And that means like George and his friends, they were now like the top quality pickers, because a lot of the stronger guys and all went to war. And now they have like legit children being pickers as well. This is in a citrus grove, by the way, just to give you an image in your head, because we are in Central Florida. And so he's kind of rousing them up, because he's like, we need to be getting paid the same as white men and all of that. And again, would all that have happened if not for the war? I mean, I do think it would have happened, but it's just history, how it works, time. Now we have, this is something that I would be interested in booking, so I'm asking y'all for recommendations. So we have Pershing, who he marries Alice, who is the daughter of the president of the University of Atlanta, and so they are a part of the Atlanta bourgeois society, where they will get like, what are the cards called where they write calligraphy on the cards, and it'll be at a dinner, and this is like where you sit, you know, like they can be around the Roosevelts, the Rockefellers, like the Atlanta bourgeois, like black society. I want to know how all that started and just how that was able to happen in the South. So if y'all have any book recommendations on that, let me know. And just with these characters, the differences, we have Ida Mae, who is in Mississippi, and I think she is this kind of like a no BS kind of person, just trying to survive out here, trying to take care of her family. She reminds me of the character in Nightcrawling by Layla Motley. I was looking around, I do not remember the character's name, but she kind of reminds me of her. And then we have the men, Pershing and George, who I feel like are such dreamers, and it feels like you almost have to be in this kind of situation to dream of something better for yourself and for your people, and then going out there and actually making that change. Yeah, it's inspiring. So there's the survival mindset, and then we gotta get out of this place, and yeah, just two different kind of ways that you see here. And that is all for The Warmth of Other Suns today. I will come back later to talk about practical magic with y'all. I am at the exact halfway point, 50% into practical magic, so I want to go over my thoughts for that quarter. And like, this camera has been sitting here all day, and now he has to mess with it. The pets just aren't on my side this week. They're just giving me such a hard time. But now he's laying on the book. Please don't move again, because it's going to make the camera move. Move, if you can't just have your towel right there. He wants to be a pain. So I don't have that many thoughts from the second quarter of this book, but we're introduced to the daughters of Sally and Joanne now, and there's just not, or the daughters of Sally, there's not enough development to them, because we had like the whole first quarter of the book developing Joanne and Sally, and I still don't think that did a tremendous job. I think with Sally it did a really good job, because Sally is very much an empath. Like, she loves animals and is just like the good girl, but she's also very logical. Like, if Joanne sees like a falling star, you know, she's like, oh, it's a wishing star, and Joanne will, or Sally, so that's Joanne who said it's like, oh, it's a falling star, and Sally would be like, no, it's actually this comment, blah blah blah, and all of that, like going into the logics of what it really is. So I find her really relatable, because I'm somebody who is a dreamer, an empathetic person who loves animals, loves nature, and thinks everything has feelings. But I am also a very logical person as well. I like everything to have logic. I like things to make sense. So I can find a lot of relatability with her. But we just haven't had that same amount of time with Antonia and Kylie, who are the daughters of Sally. Now, we have this whole next half of the book that could develop those characters, but that's the thing with, as I told y'all, we had that whole first quarter developing the sisters, you know, Joanne and Sally, and now we just jump ahead to when they have, or when one of them has kids. We'll get more into that in a minute. But I have started to get confused, as I just was with the names then, of just with Antonia, Kylie, we have 4 women living together. They're all related, and it's just, and with very similar traits, so it makes sense because they are related, and you are going to have similar traits to people you're related to, whether you like it or not. They can manifest in different ways, but I'm just getting confused with who is who at this point, especially with the daughters. But Sally and Callie are my favorites so far. They're the ones who are most alike. They're literally very much alike, except Kylie, we now know, has some kind of ability. I know what it is, but I'm not going to tell y'all. But the passage of time, that is why I think I'm having trouble connecting, which I do. I really like the characters, but at the same time, I have that confusion with them. So I think because, as I said, the whole first part, we're seeing Sally and Joanne from the time they're little girls all the way up to finishing high school and deciding what to do with their lives. And now that just moved so fast, spanning, 30 years in like 100 pages. That was a lot. And it's just, skimming by things rather than actually building. Yeah, I just wish there was more steady development. So that's my thoughts of Practical Magic at the Halfway, which I love the vibes of this. It's whimsy. It's giving me that nostalgic Halloween feel. Now this is taking place all year round, but it, you know, it's a witchy book. So that is all for today. That is all for the vlog. If you made it all the way through, leave a witchy or magical emoji in the comments below, and as always, comment, rate, and subscribe. Don't forget to ring that notification bell to be notified when all my videos go live. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.